Hi, this is Wayne from I Suck at Video Games, and I'm here to take a look back at the E3 2015 Xbox press conference. Also, don't forget to check out my videos on the Sony and Nintendo E3 announcements for this year. Alright, let's jump in and see what Microsoft brought to the show. Microsoft opened their show with a game montage that would make Sony proud. With narration from a host of their video game heroes, they gave a motivational speech that seemed unnecessary for someone to have said to them in order for them to play a video game. Epic video set to epic music, ending with a catchphrase, "Jump ahead," leaving the Xbox 360's catchphrase, "Jump in," somewhere in the past. I feel like we've been given mixed or confusing instructions here. Jumping in makes sense, you know? Jump into the game. Jump ahead suggests we forego the games altogether and move on to something else. The audience, bribed with green t-shirts and light-up wristbands, ate this up. To avoid any accusations of discrimination, the first presenter was Bonnie Ross from 343 Industries. She welcomed everyone and stated that they are there today to continue the tradition of what the show has always been about, the characters, the games, and the stories that people love. I guess someone forgot to tell this guy back in 2010. She went on to then show off gameplay from Halo 5. To be honest, I never really been into Halo. I mean, I've played a bit of some of the previous games of the series, but not really much. I guess ODST was the one I played the most, and I didn't finish it at all. Halo 5 looks nice, but I don't really think I'll... Hang on! Nathan Fillion returns! Face and all! I guess I'm gonna have to play this now. Rather than actual gameplay, what they showed seemed more like story progression. There was a bit of shooty, but they waited for the multiplayer action to show that off, and multiplayer, dubbed Warzone, is where everything is possible. Halo was followed by a new game, and it's called Recore, and it's coming from Keiji Inafune, and the makers of Metroid Prime no less. My attention was instantly grabbed. Girl with a robot dog, off to a good start. But it wasn't long until the evil robot spiders attacked and Mr. Robopoppy had to sacrifice himself to save his master. But don't be sad, Robopup lives on in this giant robot guy. Phil Spencer came out next to a fanboy cheer and explained how Recore is an Xbox One exclusive. He went on to talk about taking customers' feedback seriously and announced that Xbox is doing something he wasn't really so sure was actually possible. Xbox 360 backwards compatibility. The crowd cheered their little hearts out, but really, is that all? Backwards compatibility is a feature that isn't really needed. I mean, I hardly ever played a Wii game on a Wii U. At least they aren't charging you to play the games you already own. Sony. The plan is to get as many games available as possible, and they just need developer approval for it to happen. Probably the best feature is that the digital titles will just appear in your library on Xbox One. Retail discs need to be inserted and then downloaded. Thankfully, it also comes with all the Xbox One features too. Next, the expected, mainly because it was leaked, new iteration of the Xbox One controller was shown off. It's the Xbox Elite wireless controller, and it looks like one of those third-party controllers no one wants to use. But it seems like the original Xbox One controller will be going to the younger sibling now. Basically, you can customize the crap out of it and try and get that competitive edge. Todd Howard from Bethesda came out next and showed off some Fallout 4 stuff. But it was pretty pointless considering they did the same thing the day before at their own press conference. All in all, the game looks pretty decent though. An important thing announced was that PC mods for the game will work on Xbox One too. Peter Moore then took to the stage to do what I assumed was to denounce FIFA, just like EA did with Tiger Woods. Instead, he just tried to sell everyone on EA Access. This was more or less a sales pitch, and it was not really an announcement or anything. Pretty much $5 a month, US, gets you early access to games and a library of Instaplay titles. Before he left, he did announce Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. It looks fun, and has turned the PvZ world upside down. The zombies have actually taken over, and now the plants need to get the world back. A history lesson on the Ford Motor Company was next, and was complemented by the lamest magic trick ever. I mean, the car just dropped down from the ceiling. There wasn't even a pretty assistant or anything, and then they made the car disappear again by hoisting it back up. Take that, David Copperfield. World premiere.
World premiere.
Hey, I just said that. Oh look, it's Dark Souls 3. Now this is a game I certainly won't play. Thanks though, it looked pretty, and I'm sure you'll love it if you're into that kind of thing. How does that guy scream without a face? The Division came next, and it looks like it could be okay. A little bit post-apocalyptic, just no monsters or zombies. Only bad guys, and people stating the obvious.
There cannot be any hope for tomorrow if we don't fight for today.
Yeah, and water is wet. Mr. French hit the stage and talked about what I can only assume was The Division, but I couldn't understand a thing he said. He then showed off Rainbow Six Siege, and it looks exactly like you expect it to. Shooty for everyone. A new colourful cartoony game called Gigantic was announced next, and it looks kinda cool, for what I assume to be a MOBA at least. The graphics are like Roadrunner cartoon meets the Wind Waker. Speaking of cartoony, it's time for an unintroduced indie montage! Cuphead by Studio MDHR. Rise and Shine from Adult Swim and Super Awesome Hyperdimensional Mega Team. The Mean Greens from Virtual Basement and Code Headquarters. The Flame and the Flood by the Molasses Flood. Phantasmal City of Darkness by iMoby. Grip Games has the Soul Project. Westerado, also from Adult Swim. Sword Coast Legends by Digital Extremes and Endspace. Outward from 9 Dot Studio. Double 11 and Copy Stain Studios brings us everyone's favourite goat-based simulator. There's Game 4 from the Behemoth. Hello from Cappy Games. Ark Survival Evolved by Studio Wildcard. Qbyte or QUbyte, I'm not sure. Interactive has Recruits. And then there's Superhot by Superhot. Xbox now invited some indie developers on stage to talk about their games. First was the game Tacoma, which is an exploration game where you unravel the story of what happened to the crew on a space station with just the computer to talk to. Another foreigner hit the stage, this time a Kiwi, so I understood most of what he said. He talked about his new game, Ashen, a game where player relationships are key to survival. It looks pretty interesting, maybe Journey-esque, I guess, possibly filled with deadly puzzles that need to be solved by trial and error in order to survive, just from looking at it. Beyond Eyes is a blind simulator. More colourful than I thought it was going to be. Seems like the kind of game you could just sit down, play and soak in. The guys behind Cuphead then showed off how hard the game looks like it's going to be. The game looks cool, but it has two things going against it. I hate that 30s style animation, and I hate hard games. Next, an early access style program called Xbox Game Preview was announced, and it's exactly what you expect it to be. Buy a game that's early in development and play it as it evolves. At least there will be a demo for each game that you can purchase early before committing with your cash. Another New Zealander hit the stage, but this one was a little harder to understand. It was the guy behind DayZ. He showed off Ion, his new vision for an early access game. It didn't really show much of anything except for this human-sized fetus. Gameplay from Rise of the Tomb Raider hit the screens next, and it really shows everything is coming around full circle. First we had Tomb Raider, which inspired Uncharted by implementing action with exploration. Now Uncharted has influenced back with focus on character story, huge set pieces, and character interactions. Watching this gameplay shows me that I have to go back and play 2013's Tomb Raider. I'm glad this next game was leaked early, because when you start off an introduction with Xbox One exclusive, and then turn a light on a picture of Perfect Dark, you just might make the fanboys and fangirls celebrate in an orgy of love. This game is more than Perfect Dark. It's also more than one game. It's a collection of 30 classic Rare games, and quite frankly, I'll play Rare Replay more than I played Sega Mega Drive Collection. It's a shame I own most of these games already, but I may as well play them again in one compilation. It's also a shame some of the classics like GoldenEye and Donkey Kong can't be included because, you know, that whole owned by another company thing. This wasn't all from Rare either. A new swashbuckling pirate adventure by the name of Sea of Thieves was introduced, and it looks pretty fun. Yar, in fact, it's making me want to talk like this. You know, good sea shanty loving landlubber. Pirate insult, I guess. Forget Assassin's Creed. Now this is a pirate game. Skeletons, guys walking the plank, sharks, sea battles, cannonballs flying at your face. Sea of Thieves looks like the pirate game I've always wanted. Fable Legends was next, and I like what they're doing with this one. They're taking the typical hero story and turning it on its head. All I can think of is the game Evil Genius, where you had to stop the secret agents from infiltrating your lair. Being free to play is pretty awesome as well. Kudo Tsunoda took the stage next, and whatever was behind him made it look like he needed an oxygen tank. He talked about how Fable Legends is cross-platform on Xbox One and Windows 10. Even more importantly, Microsoft HoloLens was demoed. It showed off just how well it can work. The game we saw was a new version of Minecraft. At first, it wasn't too obvious what was going on. A special camera was used to show what the HoloLens was rendering. I didn't realize that this wasn't actually on the screen until they showed this. And then I was blown out of the water with this. This is the kind of thing gamers dream about. This is the future. Minecraft is fine, but imagine playing a Mario game like this. This guy looks a little crazy from an outside perspective. A small price to pay. Gears of War Ultimate Edition is coming. That's right, more remakes, more ports. It's what we all want. This can be forgiven though, because the new Gears of War game was also debuted. I know a few people that must have been crying with joy at this point. The world looks nice and the gameplay seems, well, exactly what you expect for a Gears of War game. My favourite thing about this new game is that it's cleverly titled Gears 4. Phil Spencer came back out and closed the show with a casual hand in his pocket and some generic reasons that Sony will also tell you why their console is the platform of choice. Remember folks, jump ahead. Whatever that means. After all, with Xbox 360 backwards compatibility, isn't that really jumping backwards? Then again, I guess the games will have the Xbox One features. But on the other hand, they're old games. I don't know, just jump ahead. Well, there you have it. That was Microsoft at E3 2015. Now why don't you check out what Sony or maybe even Nintendo had to show? Just go ahead and click on one of those little video boxy thingies. It will take you right to it.